At least 10% of all children are bullied on a regular basis. And according to the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, close to half, that's right, close to half of all children will experience school bullying at some point in their academic career. This can affect your child by stunting them emotionally and socially, as well as you'll see significant impacts on their academic schoolwork and their schoolwork life. You'll see it impact their relationships with their peers. It has a dramatic impact on whether they will have serious depression or even whether they will or may attempt suicide later on. This can all be a result of childhood bullying. There is clearly a need for peer patrols. Peer Patrol is a student empowerment program designed to foster awareness in bullying within the school, as well as promote a sense of personal authority for each student to confront the bullying issue together. Paul Cloughlin, he believed that bullying stems from the same exact roots as racism, sexual harassment, and even genocide. And it requires people to combat these issues of bullying the same way you would combat any other oppression or injustice. We at Peer Patrol view the entire anti-bullying issue as a critical issue for Christians to engage in and combat. Yes, we believe that bullying must be stopped. Throughout this program, you will discover that peer patrols are empowered students and enlightened teachers. Students who have been given the opportunity to be peer patrols have made up their minds not to ignore the pain of their fellow students or ignore a peer being bullied or threatened or afraid of their environment. They are willing to step in wherever they can to make a difference in the lives of their fellow student members. Before we can effectively combat bullying, we must first answer the question with relatively good clarity. What is bullying? One definition is bullying is unwanted, aggressive behavior that involves a real or perceived power imbalance. The behavior is repeated or has the potential to be repeated over time. We will discuss in this program the three types of bullying: verbal bullying, social bullying, and physical bullying. And we will all have a fair grasp of what those bullying types are so that we can stand up and make a difference as peer patrols. A person is bullied when he or she is exposed repeatedly over time to negative actions on the part of one or more other students. Now, it's not uncommon for children to roughhouse, to play too much, to play practical jokes, or any number of other things. But how can we recognize when they are actually being bullied? Well, Sriracho determined 3 criteria that we all should know so that it can help us identify a bully in school. Here are the 3 criteria. Number 1, is an aggressive behavior an internal harm doing? Are they trying to hurt you? This is something you got to keep in mind. If I accidentally hurt you or something accidental hurt them, then we can say that's probably not bullying. But a bully is trying to hurt that person. Number 2, It is repeated. It is repeated often, and it is carried out over time. If a child pushes one child one time and doesn't again, it is not bullying. But if every time this child goes to the playground, that person is pushed by one of their peers, then that child is most likely being bullied. And number 3, is an interpersonal relationship characterized by an imbalance of power? Is a bigger kid picking on a smaller kid? Is a more talented kid picking on a less talented kid? Is someone exercising their physical or positional authority over one of their peers to cause them repeated harm? Let that go on. Is a child using their physical or positional or even intellectual authority or power to cause physical or emotional harm repeatedly over time? And if your answer is yes, then it's time for you to step in and be a peer patrol for one of your classmates, or as a teacher, take action to help that child not be bullied. First, let's discuss verbal bullying. Were you aware that 27% of middle school students have reported that they were threatened, actually threatened, through the course of a school year? Verbal bullying is intended to degrade or demean the victim. Yes, let's put that in our mind. A child that is being bullied is a victim in some way. It can occur on its own or in conjunction with any other form of bullying. Let's keep in mind the idea of someone threatening or calling someone names or ridiculing or embarrassing. These are bullying in and of itself. They don't have to physically touch them to harm them. Though it happens more frequently among girls, it often happens with boys. And I have to be clear, it can be even more damaging than physical bullying. A bully might target a specific child because of many things. They can pick on them because of their weight, their gender, their race, their appearance, or height, or you just pick it, you name it. There are children that are being picked on for random things. If you're not paying attention, you will miss it. And I want to make this point. 71% of youth have witnessed bullying at school. That means the majority of children or students have seen another child being bullied. The question is, did they care enough to step up and make a difference? Did that child who witnessed bullying make up their mind to be a peer patrol for their classmate? Now, this type of bullying is more common in females, and get this, can start as early as kindergarten. Today's society has displayed social bullying as entertainment in movies such as Mean Girls, where it is glorified, but then neatly resolved at the end of the movie. Sadly, most issues, most pain is not resolved within a single hour. Social bullying, also known as relational aggression, is a form of bullying that has grown, and it has grown since the boom of social media, and has increased with cell phone usage. It is relational in nature and causes harm by damaging someone's, get this, social status. A kindergarten with a social status, because their conversations are easy to keep private and can often be done covertly. and hidden from teachers. I think the examples are important. Posting about someone on social media, directly or indirectly naming them the victim, calling people name online, texting rude or negative comments. It's something that didn't even happen when I was young. Excluding someone from a peer group or not letting them play on your team. Refusing to allow peers to sit with one's group. Convincing others not to like someone, or just plain starting rumors. This is just plain being mean, and being mean in a social setting. Yes, this is social bullying. Okay, physical bullying is the most recognized and most discussed type of bullying. But I want to go back and remind us of our criteria. There are many types of negative physical interactions that occur between young people, including fighting, including practical jokes, stealing, even sexual harassment. These things happen on the playground. However, you got to remember, it's not actually bullying unless it fits within the criteria. That is, it's the same victim targeted repeatedly. The bullies intend to openly, purposely hurt, embarrass, or intimidate their victim, or the actions occur in a situation with a real or perceived imbalance of power, such as the bully is stronger than the victim or has a higher social status. It's something in this context. Physical bullying can be in many forms. It can be hitting, pushing, tripping, slapping, spitting, yikes, stealing, or even destroying property, including books, papers, or lunch money. Physical bullying can also cross the line into sexual harassment or even sexual assault. Physical bullying is, again, the most visible and most common type of bullying, and it is also the most classically accepted form of bullying. Physical bullying takes place most often at school. I'm going to say that again because it's important for the teachers to hear that physical bullying takes place most often at school. Though, of course, it can happen on the way to school or on the way home from school or even after school. Here's an important note. Middle school is the age when bullying is the most common. Middle school teachers, pay attention. Sometimes all it takes is for someone to have the courage and the heart to stand up and care. The question is, do you have the courage to make a difference? Now let's be honest. The vast majority of anti-bullying programs are established on knowledge of social learning in relation to bullying and victimization instead of theory. Now, Peer Patrol is making an effort to use more contemporary theories, such as the defiance theory and even the restorative justice approach. Peer Patrol is designed to bring a greater awareness to issues of bullying to both the students and to the teachers. We recognize that if we work together, we can surely make a difference. When asked to explain the value and importance of peer patrolling, these numbers speak for themselves. If 64% of students who are bullied go completely unreported, let's start there. 64% of people bullied never reported, and no one ever says anything. While at the same time, 70% of teachers have witnessed bullying, and yes, 71% of students have witnessed bullying, then we can conclude that part of the issue is that many people choose not to report, not to step in, not to make a difference, and not to be a peer patrol for their fellow students, because 64% of them never get reported. Peer patrolling is the foundation of peer patrol is based on the question, would you say something or would you remain silent while watching one of your peers be bullied? People often ask, what are the personality traits of a bully? First of all, let's be clear, there are no absolutes. In psychology, the psychology of what makes a bully is complicated. There are so many factors that can trigger your child into bullying someone else, or even that can put your child in a situation where they can be bullied. But if you simply want to understand the basic traits of a bully, you can look out for this: aggressive, impulsive, or domineering tendencies, especially those in these criteria. They can be overconfident. Psychology used to believe that bullying behavior compensated for low self-esteem issues, but current studies are showing that certain bullies are actually quite confident. They say they will use whatever qualities they possess to torture other children. In a physical bullying case, it would likely be the fact that they're just bigger and stronger than the other kids. Or also bullying could be low self-esteem. Just because certain physical bullies are self-confident doesn't mean don't mean they're self-confident at all. Some do have low self-esteem issues and compensate for their insecurities by torturing their peers. Let's be clear, there's no one size fits all to what makes a bully or what makes a child become a bully. This may be helpful to maybe look for some traits, but don't put all your eggs in that basket. Keep an open mind and just pay attention to their behavior. As previously stated, Peer Patrol is a theory-based peer empowerment program. The focus to the students is empowerment, teaching children to police one another and to care enough to let their voices be heard when they recognize a bully. In terms of what the focus is for the teachers, it's awareness. Educating teachers to become more aware of any bullying issues they may have within their classroom. Now, because we're theory-based, I want to make it clear. We believe in the defiance theory, suggesting that fairness and legitimacy of experienced punishment are essential for the acknowledgement of shame, which conditions deterrence. When punishment is perceived as unjust by the offenders, it will lead to unacknowledged shame and defiant pride. Therefore, if the student doesn't believe you're treating them fairly, they will not learn the lesson. They will become defiant, and they will just resist it and then repeat the behavior. That's part of the defiance theory. One of the things that Peer Patrol also believes in is restorative justice. This, in effect, is an alternative to punishment or being punitive when you don't have to be. This means that we bring the harmed person together with the offender, and we let them work it out together. We promote dialogue, we promote accountability, we create a strong sense of community. Restorative justice is a framework that can be applied to a variety of contexts. But in this case, when we're talking about stopping bullying, the goal is that everyone begins to see that they have a part in the effort to stop bullying. Whether you're a peer patrol where you step in where you are needed, or you're a teacher or faculty member that recognizes that their position, their voice, can make all the difference in the world. This program is focused on both the teacher and the student, 100% recognizing that we can only stop bullying if we work together. We recommend using anti-bullying student assemblies for the student. Student assembly for an instructor is the best format for instruction for the students for this type of information. This format will allow both instruction and student interaction that may directly aid in student empowerment. This video just showed an exercise where students were asked to stand without saying a word. One student was asked to stand without saying a word, and the other students, some students just stood because they saw it. And then other students were asked to stand and then sit down. And it was each individual student that stood and then sat down. Other students stood for no other reason other than the fact that they saw other students doing it. The message being, are you willing to step away from the herd to stop bullying? Let's be clear. Research has shown that in more than 50% of bullying scenarios, if another kid, even if it's just one kid, stepped in, the bullying would stop. You don't have to fit in with everyone. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. You can make up your mind that you alone are going to make a difference in someone else's life. You can stop bullying if you're just willing to, when you see the opportunity, step in. We strongly recommend after the anti-bullying assembly, that the school conducts a peer patrol #NoBullying week. Yay! Monday, peer patrol assignment. Tuesday, discuss verbal bullying. Wednesday, social bullying. Thursday, physical bullying. And then again, Friday, more peer patrol day. Make one full week of discussion of bullying. Now get this, the purpose is to help kids develop anti-bullying abilities and recognition, to create a brand new culture within the school where bullying cannot be unnoticed. The strategies involve acquiring abilities to manage bullies, identifying bullying and aggressive behavior, becoming sensitive and responsive towards bullied children, developing positive social norms, responding by using socially acceptable behavior in a bullying situation. We believe that one event won't make the biggest change, but if we create a sustained activity where one, the assembly, and two, the anti-bullying week, or the #NoBullying week, then the children will begin to develop a new mindset as it relates to bullying or being bullied. This will give them a sense of empowerment and allow them to have the courage to stand up and make a difference. Now, let's be honest. If we have assemblies and #NoBullying weeks without properly training the teachers, then we've only accomplished half of our task. The goal of Peer Patrol anti-bullying teacher sessions is to help teachers learn to modify their school environment and change the overall culture. This is important when you accept the fact that 70% of teachers have witnessed bullying themselves. This is to train teachers and staffs on bullying issues and they may have overlooked or winked at. Developing teachers' ability to manage this behavior is one of the hallmarks of the Peer Patrol program. Without teachers, the peer patrols will have no one to turn to when they recognize a problem. Teachers, you will become the final guard to protect our children from bullies in their midst. Much like the #NoBullying week, we're suggesting that teachers have a 5-meeting session or 5 meetings or 5 sets of meetings to help them learn the process of how to overcome bullying. This is just a suggestion, not the final say, because every school is different. And I believe that a peer patrol advocate should be given an opportunity to create a more personalized teacher meeting session. But each meeting or the sets of meetings would include some form of sensitization, allowing the teachers to describe bullies they've encountered, discuss behavior code. It should provide the teachers an opportunity to develop concrete goals, consolidation to prevention goals, and feedback and further use of the program. This is important that teachers recognize that they have an important part in the peer patrol process. And it's not just the students, of course we all know that, but the teachers are equally valuable and equally important to overcoming the peer patrol or overcoming the bullying issue. In effect, teachers become sort of grown-up peer patrols themselves. At the end of the day, the goal is for teachers and students to work together to create an environment that is conducive to learning and will allow every student to succeed, every student to do their best, and in the end, every student to be a peer patrol for their fellow classmates. Together, we can make a difference and stop bullying in our school. Thank you again, and I hope that you enjoyed this presentation. And I look forward to seeing you and your school soon for a Peer Patrol presentation.